Ken, you worry too much.
I worry because worrying about losing keeps you winning.
Did you forget your 1 o'clock at the DMV?
Beatrice, I don't have time for this.
And I bet you don't have time for jail. I'm okay.
Hey, number 9, true or false?
Excuse me.
Why would I cheat on a DMV test?
What are you doing?
Buying redemption.
Redemption's not for sale today.
So, does your mom know you treat women like dirt?
Uh-oh, I smell trouble.
Nelson, I can help you. See, I have a gift.
How does a lunatic like you help a guy like me?
You have to live with me here for a month. You live in a box. I could lift the lid.
Live here and let you mess with my head for a whole month.
Yeah, we can start midnight, 1st of November.
What are you doing?
Taking your shirt off.
Why?
Because you smell like puppy pee.
Where are my clothes?
No more soup. Woo!
These for $15.
Bruce, I just gave you those clothes.
Those are my pants. Hey!
You must be November.
Who can say where the day flows? Only
What's wrong with your TV?
It's a planter.
Right.
who can say
What are you more afraid of? Spending 2 consecutive nights with the same woman or finding out this thing might not be as crazy as it seems?
You defy every law of nature I know.
These rules, they give it the illusion of control. Don't mess with that.
This is it. Life will never be better or sweeter than this.
You know, he asked me to marry him,
It's not the first.
but it was the first time I wanted to say yes.
November is all I know, and all I ever want to know.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and I have a special ability to help men with their problems. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
It's nice to meet you, Sonia.
It's really.
That's a sneak peek of our next movie we're talking about after this.
Are you Dabney Coleman from Dragnet?
Exactly. William J. Lepetamaine.
We are dorking out about 2 movies. We are going to dork out about 2001's Sweet November because we said we would. And then we are going to talk about May, December. Or is it called May and December? May, December. It's just May, December. Sorry, May, December, which is streaming on Netflix right now. So, and we have to talk about it. We have to. So we have to do this. We have to do Sweet November first because we promised people that's what we were going to do. And then you get a bonus because we're going to talk about May, December.
More for you.
More for you. More movies with months in the name. So Sweet November, it's directed by Pat O'Connor. He did a movie called Circle of Friends, which was really good. This one isn't. It stars Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron. Jason
Gorgeous.
Isaacs. Yes. Jason Isaacs is in there. Frank Langella's in there. And Michael Rosenbaum is in there.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised to see him. I've never seen this movie before, but we had received multiple requests to dork out about this one. And I don't know if we got those requests because they like this movie, or did they request this movie because they knew we would not like this movie?
It is a conundrum.
Yeah.
To try to figure it out. I think it's so 2001. The chunky knits that
Yes.
Charlize Theron wears are swoon-worthy.
Yes.
I think the two of them have never been more beautiful. I think
Yes.
they look great together.
Absolutely.
I have a funny thing about this movie is that an acquaintance of mine, her father was the screenwriter of the original.
Oh, so the one from 48.
68.
68. Well,
He's wrote the summer of 42. It all gets
okay.
Lots of months and seasons in this episode. It's going to be hard to keep it all together, y'all. But he wrote this, and it was with Sandy Denny and forget the other guy. And it's the same plot.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen the original, so I cannot.
It's fine. It's not, whatever.
But so here's the premise of this movie, which is why it's just flawed for me from the get-go. The idea is that Like Keanu Reeves is like this like really aggressive like go-getter advertising exec that you totally see in these kinds of movies, and he's like walking around like, I'm the big dog, I'm number one, and runs on
I got my dick out, let's go.
Yeah, and he's running on a treadmill with like 5 TVs in front of him, and he's like super aggressive about work. He's got adorable Lauren Graham, also known as Lorelai Gilmore, as his girlfriend, that he treats her like crap. Like,
he's terrible.
He's terrible to her. I don't like Keanu Reeves in these kinds of roles, and I don't buy him in these kinds of roles. Like, at no point do I believe that Keanu Reeves is like an aggressive go-getting advertising exec. And it's not that I don't think Keanu Reeves isn't a good actor, because I do. This does not work for me right off the bat.
A lot of these actors that play these parts, you could tell they've never had an office job. You can kind of just tell they don't get the little things that one has working at an office. And so that's one thing. They're both way too attractive. I mean, it's distracting how good everybody's so good looking in this movie. It's true. And San Francisco, oh my God, it's gorgeous in this movie.
It does look great. It shows you all the hits. You get to see the Golden Gate Bridge. They're walking along Crissy Field. It does have that like movie geography though, where like she lives in Potrero Hill, and then like you walk down her hill and she's in the Mission, which is like not a thing in San Francisco. That's not how it works, but that's fine. Only people who live in San Francisco are gonna get that. It looks beautiful the whole time, and the corner she lives in Potrero Hill is like just up a block from where I used to live before I moved into this place, and that neighborhood is the best. And if I could buy a place in San Francisco, I would move to Potrero Hill. Like, it's the best. You have an amazing view. That view is like a real view. It's great. I would love her apartment. I wouldn't
like to park on that street though.
No, that would suck. Although, again, there's that wonderful movie parking too, where they always find a spot right in front of wherever they're going. And because it's filmed in San Francisco, she also has the gay neighbor that is required by law when you film in San Francisco.
Oh, yes. The early 2000s.
Yeah. And he's the one who will, comfort her and take care of her in her times of need. Again, required by law in these kinds of movies. So the whole thing is they meet cute at the DMV, where he has because he's trying to cheat on his test, she gets kicked out of the DMV. It's stupid. It doesn't matter. And then she stalks him basically and bullies him into giving her a ride, where she then breaks into a building and kidnaps dogs that were going to be tested on for medical experiments, I guess. I don't know. All of this would be stuff that he would call the police if she was ugly, but because she's Charlize Theron, he tolerates it. She is the epitome of the manic pixie dream girl that we've seen in so many movies. And she has a thing where she takes on a man every month and helps them with their problems. And of course, even if you've seen a trailer for this movie, it's because she has cancer. And this is how she decides to spend her limited time that she has.
She was fighting for a year or two. She was doing all the treatments they told her to, because it's non-Hodgkin's
lymphoma. It's really aggressive.
Right.
She was doing all the treatments. It wasn't working. And so she stopped the treatments, and now it's spreading. So she doesn't have a long time. She knows this. And for some reason, she decides that she wants to spend her short amount of time she has left dating and fixing broken men. Only in a fucking movie would this be a thing.
You can get your rocks off and then travel. She doesn't have any good friends that she wants to hang out with and do things with.
She doesn't want to hang out with her family.
No, she just wants to, like you said, fix broken men. It helps that they're really rich and hot.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is the same problem. It's Sandy Denny in the 68 movie who's just was beautiful, and it's like it's just beautiful chick disease like Jenny in Love Story.
Yes.
It's the same damn thing, and I think it's a look. You fought cancer.
Yes.
I have not yet. I've lost family to cancer. My mother. I've lost people. The thought of somebody, you've got all these months, and what you're going to do is fix somebody else.
Yeah.
Versus connect with people you already know.
Yeah. Look, there could be other people who watch this movie and they take like a lesson about like how they want to spend their time. That's
slow down. You move too fast. Just listen to Feeling Groovy.
That's as someone who has had cancer twice, I'm like, this movie's super gross to me. Like, you know, at the same time, I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe if it was Keanu Reeves, that is how I'd want to spend my time. Like, maybe.
No doubt. No doubt. It's hot. It's the hottest he's ever been.
Yeah. The movie's 2 hours long. This movie doesn't need to be that long. I hate when I complain about how long movies are, but this one feels really fucking long. And it's so long because there are multiple scenes of him like running away from her saying, I'm not doing this. And then her like convincing him that he is going to do this. He's going to sign up for her month's seminar of her fixing broken men. And then her running away from him after he finds out she has cancer. And that happens multiple times over and over. And I'm like, we've already seen this part. Like but now they're doing that in the rain. So it's a totally different thing.
There's a little kid that's involved in the story who's like, can you be my dad? It's like, no, but I'll go to father-son thing and then tell you a week later I'm gone.
He has a mom.
It's
so stupid.
And there's a whole introduction about the transvestite character, the gay neighbor who also dresses, and this is San Francisco, like, yawn, okay, like every other person does.
So he is hanging out with Charlize Theron. He's the Danielson to her Mr. Miyagi, and she's like, we're gonna have dinner with my neighbor who lives downstairs, I guess, and he's shocked to discover that this gay friend, is also trans and or has a drag persona. And this person also happens to work at the competing ad agency and I was like, of course that's a thing. And he's so disturbed by but you're wearing a dress. How could you possibly have a day job when you work a dress and when you wear a dress? And I'm like, you live in he supposedly grew up in San Francisco.
Y'all, okay. I worked at the San Francisco Center in the summers at the 9 West store. It doesn't exist anymore. I sold shoes. And I'm telling you, I had a whole list of men that were my clients. Some gay, some straight, whatever. They just wore women's shoes. And I don't give a fuck. They would buy all the size 10s that I had, in the highest pumps. And this is not 2001. This is much earlier than that. And it's not that big of a. He would not be that freaked out by it. It's just not a thing.
No, it isn't. As someone who lives here,
yes,
you see different kinds of people everywhere. I'm raising someone. I have a 12-year-old son. He doesn't even bat an eye at this sort of thing anymore. We see naked people walking around too, by the way. And Calvin's like, meh, where's his clothes? And I was like, maybe he forgot. And he's like, maybe. And we just move on.
Yeah.
All different kinds. But if you supposedly grew up in San Francisco, the idea that you would meet a man who has a drag persona and also has a day job should not surprise you. But he's totally like, what?
What? So he gets November. That's why it's Sweet November.
Yes.
And so it takes him 2 full weeks to even kind of get into the program. And it's just stuff like she throws his clothes out. Yes. Her whole thing, it's you just throw somebody in the water and expect them to swim.
Yes.
but she's so charming that they're supposed to find it fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no one's going to stick with this. They'll put up with it just to get some tail. And then they know November 30th, 30 days in September, April, June, and November. So he's like got 30 days. But so halfway through, he realizes she can't have, and look, I never had cancer. I've had pretty bad things. You could tell me. How many pills were in that pill drawer?
That she has a locked cabinet and it's a shit ton of pills. Now, I have had cancer twice. I have also had to take meds. It can feel like a lot. It can feel like what you're seeing in that movie, because you start taking something and then you have to take like something for the side effects, and then you're taking something for those side effects, and the next thing you know, you're taking a bottle of pills like every day. It can feel like that. Does it look like that? It didn't for me. So,
no.
But okay, sure. And I mean, even when she's really, really sick, I'm like, she's still gorgeous, of course. Like,
yeah, they're not gonna. I mean, she throws up once. That's about it. That's the extent. She gets a little more pale.
Yes, I guess that's true. Yeah,
but he has like, the Gaber who also has a partner.
Yes.
Who, like, so Keanu Reeves at one point takes her to the hospital because she's very obstinate about, like, not telling people things. It's like, at some point you're going to have to.
Yeah.
The jig is going to have to be up at this point. Like, what did she say to all these men? Like, at the 30th day? Why do they? Because she's beautiful and she's so charming and stuff like that. Like, who just leaves? I mean, I don't get it.
I'm like,
I don't understand it.
Again, imagine spending your, like, last remaining bit of time dating and breaking up with people over and over. Like,
first date conversation,
gross.
Meeting the friends, meeting the family, figuring out what foods you both like, music. It's oh my God, it's tedious.
Yes, and everyone in Keanu Reeves' life on the other side, other than Lauren Graham, who like has a legit issue with, like, he treats her like crap and she's like, peace out, like she leaves him, and she's right to do that. Like his best friend that works at the ad agency, the Frank Langella character that's like the super pro agent that's like coming back, I guess, whatever, it doesn't matter. Everyone's a dick. They're all awful people who don't understand why Keanu Reeves is hanging around Charlize Theron. And I'm like, because she's Charlize Theron, you fools. She's beautiful. She's beautiful. And he got fired from his job because he acted like an asshole in his meeting and made hot dogs look even grosser than they are with his advertising campaign. So nasty. Ugh.
It just doesn't make sense.
No.
And what's the deal with her family? Like, where are they?
So her family, she has decided that what she's doing is what's keeping her alive. So she's doing this thing where she's fixing broken men, and her family's like, I don't approve. And because of that, she's ignoring her family. She's not spending time with her family at all, but they are still in contact with her Gaber.
Right.
And finally, like at the end, first of all, Keanu Reeves, like, there's a whole thing about Thanksgiving where she's
this Thanksgiving scene. Jesus Christ.
So she's making Thanksgiving dinner with the Gaber and
the little boy
and his mother, and they have this spread, and it's like a full turkey, like a typical Thanksgiving dinner. And then Keanu Reeves like crawls in through a window in a Santa hat, and he's like, ho, 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 I have gifts for, Charlize Theron. And everyone's like, I feel like getting Chinese food. Peace out. And they just leave.
They just leave all that food?
All that food that they all work to cook. They're like, oh, well, she needs to get some. So bye. They leave. And Keanu Reeves like gives her all of these gifts. And it's like,
lame.
Yeah, it's just like, here's all these bubbles, and it's a thing, and here's another thing, and here's a book about transvestites, because again, he can't fucking deal that there's trans people in the world. And then he's like, and then he starts singing in a club. It like, and the people are there to see him sing, and I'm like, how did this happen? I don't understand. And then they go back to her place where he has put calendars all over. It says November, and he's like, it will always be November. And then they have the saddest looking sex I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, so sad. I was like, how can you have sex with Keanu Reeves and look that sad? It's so sad.
And then he asks her to marry him.
Yes.
And she, of course, says no.
Yes.
And
runs away.
And runs away. And then, spoilers, they go, what's the park they go to?
They run to Dolores Park from Petro Hill, which if you live
Dolores
here,
Park.
you would laugh out loud because that's miles and miles from they're not next to each other. It's ridiculous.
She takes him to the park. She puts one of her fancy scarves, her chunky knits around his eyes, and then she walks away. And then he walks for a little bit blindfolded and then takes the blindfold off and then just kind of sad walks like, guess she's dead now. Got to go buy a suit again because she threw out my clothes.
Yep.
But I'm a different person now.
I guess he's a different person now. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to little Abner who lives across the street from her, needs a dad. I don't know. She's going to go live with her family. Is she going to take her cute dog with her? I hope so. If not, Keanu Reeves might have to take in the dog now. But this movie is just like, and it's 2 hours. It's 2 hours.
It repeats over and over and over again. I mean, it would have been so much better if they could take a good 30 minutes out of this movie. And it could be like a little basic tearjerker. But they just beat you over the head with it.
I will be honest. I don't know if this movie could ever work for me because just the idea that this is how she wants to spend her time it's
frivolous. It's stupid.
It's stupid and I don't like it. But I will be honest, like this is the kind of movie that me in my 20s might have really liked. Like when I go see like Serendipity with
John Cusack.
Yeah, with John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale. And I was like, that's adorable. And now I was like, this is stupid. You meet a good man, you're going to fucking throw it up to chance if you get to see him again. And then you don't get to see him again for like another 10 or 15 years. I was like, this movie's stupid.
There are a lot of dumb rom-coms. And there's no calm in this movie. It's just all deadly serious.
Yes.
And we're supposed to just think she's this little angel. And after a while, she was annoying me. She's creating all this chaos.
Yeah.
And what is she living on? Like, that's not cheap to live in that neighborhood, right?
No. Petro Hill's very nice. I don't know. I wondered, because she's also like, I walk dogs. And he's like, how much do you make? I don't do it for money. I'm like, LOL.
You silly goose.
There's no hustle culture in her life. Like,
no.
You know, apparently she has a dog grooming van, but
she's never in it.
Yeah, she's never in it. We never see her. Well, I mean, she rescues some dogs at one point. I don't know what she had like a dog, or she had like a pet website, remember? And she said it like got really big, and when it got too big, she was like, it wasn't fun anymore, so I quit. And it's just whatever.
Yeah, let's
it's just not good. I love that our listeners were like, this movie's trash, and they wanted you and I to watch it. Also, I'm like, I thought you guys liked us. Why would you tell us to watch something so...
Why are you mad at us?
What'd we do?
What did we do? We just try to bring you some free enjoyment every week.
No, I get it. Our listeners have a very good sense of humor. I appreciate them.
We love you guys.
We do love
but we don't like this movie. It's December now.
It's May, December now.
Kimmy, yeah. How do you choose your roles?
I want to find a character that's difficult to understand. Why are they like this? Were they born or were they made?
I thought you were taller. You look
You look taller on television, but we're basically the same size. Thank you for doing this. Well, I want you to tell the story right, don't I? They're sweet, aren't they?
We've been together for almost 24 years now. It's hard to trust that you're going to represent things as they were.
What would make a 36-year-old woman have an affair with a 7th grader?
So good.
What's your relationship like with your kids? How is that relevant?
You're the actress playing my mother?
Look me in the eye and tell me how selfish you are.
You're different than me. You're a modern woman.
Why would you want to play someone who you think is a bad person?
It's the moral gray areas that are interesting.
Insecure people are very dangerous.
I have an idea of what sneaking around with you must have felt like. Probably shouldn't have said that.
No worries.
What were your expectations?
That my children would love me and my life would be perfect.
A little naive.
I am naive. I always have been.
I saw this one. I saw May. We're going to talk about May, December now, and we're going to talk about spoilers.
With spoilers, yes,
So
yes.
it's on Netflix if you want to watch it and then you want to come back. That's a great idea. I saw this in the theater a couple weeks ago. I didn't know it was coming to Netflix, or I would have just waited.
I know. I was going to say, what is she doing?
I'm such a dope because it's the same reason I haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon yet, because I was like, well, I heard it's coming to Apple, and here it is like 2 months later and it's still not on Apple, and I'm like, when's it coming to Apple? But I ran out and saw May, December because I didn't want to miss it. LOL. Now it's on Netflix. So I saw it. It's been stuck in my head now for weeks, and then you just saw it and we're like, we have to talk about this.
If we're going to talk about Sweet November, then we have to talk about May, December.
Yes, we do.
It all works.
Yes. This movie is really fucking good and totally bonkers. And I'm glad that you watched it so that we could talk about it.
I've watched it twice in the last 24 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What is, even if you haven't seen it, it's directed by Todd Haynes. He also did, he did Carol a couple years ago, which I just watched for the first time and is beautiful. And it's a holiday movie, so if you want to be bummed out, go watch Carol. What else? He did the other one with Julianne Moore and
Safe.
He did Safe, and he also did the one that's like with Dennis Quaid and what's it called? Far from Heaven. There it is.
Far from Heaven.
Yes.
Okay. And then did he do the Karen Carpenter one, or is that something else?
Yes. He did do the Karen Carpenter. That's him, right?
Yeah, with the dolls.
Yes, that you were telling me about.
Yeah,
What's
it's
it
on
called?
YouTube. You can find it. Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story, and it's all told with dolls, and it's like 43 minutes long. I'm going to watch it. It's definitely. But this movie's loosely based on the story of Mary Kay Letourneau. Is that how you pronounce it? Mm-hmm. Okay. And that woman was a middle school teacher who I'm trying to think of the right way to put it. Raped.
Yeah, rapes a 12-year-old student and like has his baby. They get married eventually. And this story is Julianne Moore is that woman. She rapes the 12-year-old that works at the pet store with her. And now it's like 23 years later, and her and the 12-year-old is now grown up. It's Charles Melton. He's so good in this. So good.
I mean, I thought, the Barbie movie, who am I thinking of? Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Gosling. I thought he was a lock. He's going to have to beat this guy for Best Supporting Actor, because he's amazing in this movie.
He's so good. They are.
Oh my God.
It's 23 years later. He's grown up. They're still together. the children that they had together are about to graduate from high school. At like 35, he's about to be like an empty nester. So like there's all of that. And then Natalie Portman is an actress who comes to their small town to study Julianne Moore because she's going to be playing Julianne Moore's character in a movie. And she wants to try to understand the person she's going to play. And the movie just didn't play out the way I thought it was.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by the performances. I'm still not sure I understand what happened at the ending. I love that it's beautiful to look at, like all Todd Hayden's movies. But it also like kind of looks like a Lifetime movie, which I think is by design.
Yeah, I think because he says this is camp, what he's doing, that it's comedy. It's a dark comedy.
It's pretty fucking dark.
I know, because Patrick Bromley, if this movie was tweeting out like, "You're not understanding. This is also funny." I'm like, cool your jets, dude. It's maybe the chuckles for me will come like the third or fourth time I start watching it, because I think we're supposed to laugh at. I laugh anyway at Natalie Portman, not because she's not good. She's amazing.
Yeah,
but she's playing a very ditzy, self-absorbed actor, and then Julianne Moore is this woman who's playing herself like she's this helpless woman.
Yes.
Like she was, by the way, married and had kids when she took up with this 12-year-old that was working at a pet store.
My God. And we've talked about stuff like this on our other podcast, What a Creep. I don't understand how this kind of thing even happens. I have a 12-year-old. He's gross.
Boys are so gross.
But also he's a child.
He's a child. And she had friends that supported her that were like, oh no, he was very special. He was different. He just had a little special. Yes. And he really pursued her. And it's like, I'm sure teachers get hit on by teenage boys. No. The whole point is to say no.
Yes. Yeah. You're the adult. Boundaries. You're the adult here.
And people are saying things like, well, it happens a lot more now, that women are caught. I'm like, no, men were doing this to teenage girls. We've all heard stories about like the gym teacher that married the student.
These stories happen all the time. If you do a little bit of fucking math, there so many like professors have married their students.
Yep.
In college and high school, like it's a thing. So, but it's so disturbing to me that it's always disturbing to me, by the way. I'm not just saying that only this is disturbing. It's disturbing to me in this one because I am the mother of a 12-year-old boy. And I'm like, and he's a child. And the idea that an older woman would do these things it's super fucked up. And Charles Melton is so good as this kid who's grown up, but something was taken from him. And
his childhood.
Yes. And he doesn't, I don't know if I think he's like just now figuring it out. Like as his kids are like graduating from high school and they're going off to college, like they're going to have the typical like they're going to have the typical experiences that he never got to have. And I think that he's starting to see that. And he has his own interests that Julianne Moore is like grow up, like she is still treating him kind of like a child. And
she is so manipulative to everybody around her. And she reminds me of a couple of people. We'll talk about that off the air.
Yes.
That are in my life, but that they weaponize their tears.
Yes.
They weaponize their emotions. And she completely has everybody around it. Like when we first meet her and at their home and they're waiting for Natalie Portman to come over, he takes a beer out of the fridge, goes, that was two.
Yeah.
Like she's talking to him like he's a child.
Yes.
And he's a grown ass man. Like he can have a beer if he wants to.
Exactly.
But then she talks to her other son, their son together. She's like, you need to drink your milk. You need to eat this. You don't have nutrients. She's like Mary Cosby. Mm-hmm. You need nutrients. You need to. And then with her daughter, oh my God, the dress shopping with the teenage daughter. She says to her, oh my God, you have so much body confidence. I could never wear a dress like that and show my arms. You're just so, really taking this kid down a peg. And then she's wearing that dress later or looks something just like it.
Yeah, she picks the dress that covers her up because her mom has body shamed her and made her feel like she couldn't just show her arms, which is ridiculous. And I think that so many women can relate to that scene.
Oh, yeah.
I could definitely relate.
And there's the other daughter comes home from college and they're like, what did you get for graduation? She goes, oh, I got a scale. How about you? And it's like, a scale is a perfectly good gift.
So fucked up.
It's so fucked up.
So fucked up.
She is really fucked up. And then Charlie Mellon, is that his name? Sorry, Melton?
Melton.
The actor, Melton. His character's hobby is these monarch butterflies.
He's trying to help repopulate monarch butterflies. So he's like got little area where he's keeping the butterflies and he's feeding them and taking care of them and then releasing them, which I'm sure is very symbolic.
There's symbolism. The metaphor is not okay, but he's such a good actor.
Yes.
Then the Julianne Moore and I don't know. This is another thing when you go on Twitter, all these people are showing these clips of Mary Kay Letourneau. She gets with her student, rapes him. Then she is sent to jail for it. She busts out of jail and they put her on parole or something. And they said, you two cannot see each other. She hooks up with him. She's caught in a car having sex with him. He's like 15 or 16 at this point. And she gets pregnant by him.
Yeah.
And then they have another baby. So she's in jail when she gives birth. Her husband in the movie, he's a little more lackadaisical about it, or
that's how manipulative she is that even her like betrayed ex-husband like protects her and covers for her.
Yeah, and there's so many good scenes in this movie. There's so much here, like, and it's great that like showing and not telling. It really kind of they're making you find these things out, like the way that Natalie Portman. And I don't know, you're a reporter. I'm a reporter now. I'm very self-conscious. I'm taking notes in front of people, or if I'm like listening, am I really listening to someone? Am I really taking in what they're saying versus or am I just hearing what I want to hear? Yeah. And so she'll meet people for coffee and they're telling like their most personal things. On the one hand, she's like, this is probably really uncomfortable for you. On the other hand, she doesn't give a shit. Like she's just getting information. Like that's all.
She's just trying to learn stuff about Julianne Moore.
Right. And then Julianne Moore knows this and knows like, she's like, why didn't she move? And it's like, well, because all the people she knows, by the way, it's Savannah, Georgia, which is beautiful. I've been there. It's gorgeous. But so she has like, I love the scene with her and Natalie Portman when they're doing the fake flowers or those real flowers, but they're doing the flower arranging.
Yes.
And she's just like, nitpicking at her every second, like just letting her know, I know you're watching me. I know you're judging me,
but I'm watching you.
But I'm watching you. And she really feels it. It's like there's a scene where she's putting on her makeup.
Yes.
And there's a lot of mirroring. That's also symbolism. There's a lot of mirroring, which sounds like I'm making fun of it. I'm not. I think it's great. I like something to chew on.
It's a really, really good movie. It is one of those movies that I think will benefit from multiple viewings. There's a lot of different interpretations you could have about the end. I like movies like that where you could dig in a little bit.
And then I also love Natalie Portman in this movie.
Yeah.
She's so good. She's so good because she's manipulative too. Like she uses her fame and her looks and her personality to like get people to get what she wants from people. There's a couple of scenes I love this. She's meeting with like a family friend and she's talking to him and she's like, yeah, I hear she's a baker. That's how she makes a living. And he goes, look at those invoices. Like she has like a few customers and they're just doing it to be kind, whatever.
Yeah.
And then she meets Georgie, which is her son or
her son from a first marriage.
Oh my God, that's her son.
Yeah, who was like best friends with the Charles Melton character when they were kids.
And so, and this happened to Mary Kay, in real life, Mary Kay Letourneau's husband, I think they moved to Alaska or something. Like, they got the fuck out.
Right.
He's like, you don't get to see these kids because their lives are, already damaged by this. And things can happen in a family. There's nothing you could do about it. There is a certain amount of resiliency you have to teach kids. But this woman totally just took a blowtorch to multiple families.
Yes.
And because of her Mary Kay, her husband, he became her husband. His family, I think, was Hispanic or Asian background, but he was treated like he was exotic.
Yes,
because he wasn't white.
Right.
So it was a different moral set for him and his family. When in fact they were very Catholic and were completely upset with him.
Yeah,
having getting women pregnant, and he was not even.
He was just
a teenager.
He was a fucking kid.
A fucking kid. And he hurt that. She hurt all these people, but she goes through life like, but these are my feelings and I can't ignore my feelings.
Yes.
Like, yes, you can.
Yeah. Well, my feelings are valid.
They're all valid. My feelings. There's also, her son Georgie is a mess.
Yes.
And you could see like the wreckage of like what that relationship did to him. And then he's trying to be a music supervisor to Natalie Portman, which I was like, I'd like to be a music supervisor too. Can I?
Well, it's so interesting because he tells her, again, spoilers for May, December.
Spoilers.
He tells her, like, the reason my mom is so messed up was she was molested by her brothers. And then he's like, asks her for a job, basically being a music supervisor. And I was like, did he tell her that because he wanted to look useful and then she'll give him a job? I'm like, and then at the end, it's like, Julianne Moore's character says like, Georgie shouldn't have told you that because it's not true and he lied to you and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but was he lying or is he not?
I don't think so.
Like, I'm like, it certainly explain a lot about her.
Her psychology and her psychopathy. There's also a scene where Natalie Portman goes to have coffee with her first husband, and it's a very pleasant experience. And then she tells her, hey, I heard you met up with this guy. She says, oh, yeah, we just had coffee. And she kind of let her know, like, I better know from now on. Just let me know. So, like, she's putting it as though Natalie Portman's like, you don't boss me around. I'll meet with somebody. But Georgie actually found her.
Yes.
But he tried to get a job, couldn't. And then I'm sure his mother got very manipulative with him. Like, oh, she's just using you.
Right.
That kind of. But also, so she's very manipulative. One point she comes home and she's constantly bossing her husband around like he is a child, like he's one of her children. And one night she's like, I'm just so busy. You got to go and do this and then bring home dinner. And so that's what he does. And then he comes home and he looks upstairs and his wife is crying in the bedroom. And he's like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. And
he goes up to her and she's just completely lost it because one of her clients canceled their order.
Yes.
And it's a cake.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. She's just weaponizing her tears. Right. She's manipulating him again. Feel sorry for me.
And why weren't you here? It took me hours. It's ruined. And he's like, I'll eat it. It's like, don't worry about it. But that's like, she constantly wants to know where he is, what he's up to. And then we see him, he's texting somebody.
Yeah, he's texting someone else who is in their like butterfly community. And he kind of hits her up. Like, maybe we could hang out. And she's like, aren't you married? Like,
yeah.
Not interested. And they never mention her again. Like, I don't know if he ever like goes to meet her or whatever, but at some point he meets up with Natalie Portman.
He does meet up with Natalie Portman. It's a big spoiler. She also is an asthmatic. And so she has like a breathing machine and she has the inhaler. And at one point, the Julianne Moore character, Gracie, tells her, oh, he had to help raise his sisters. His dad worked all the time. And one of his sisters has really bad asthma. And Natalie Portman has asthma. So she says, oh, I have the machine, but I don't know how to use it. Can you come up to my room?
Which she does. She does know how to use it. Of
course she does.
Yeah, she's just as manipulative as Julianne Moore.
Right. And And he brings with her a note that Gracie wrote to him, maybe when she was in jail or something, but just giving away all of her feelings. And he's held on to that for years. So Natalie Portman screws him just to get the envelope, basically.
It's so fucked up.
It's so messed up. And then he's like, hey, that was fun. She's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, peace out.
Peace out. You know, you want to get some food? What do you want to do? Like, completely not getting, like, she's now manipulating him.
Yes.
And taking choice away from him and doing it just to get the note. I feel so bad for this guy.
Yeah.
So he comes home. There's also another scene where he's in bed with her and she's like, you smell like smoke. Go take a shower. Like the things he has to do to make her happy, to make everything safe for her. She's the boss. And that's the thing. There's an interview, I think it was done in Australia, 60 Minutes Australia, where they interviewed them as a couple. She, by the way, died in 2020. And rest in peace. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's dead. But they did an interview, and the interviewer was asking them, like, what kind of choice did he have? He was 13. And she was saying, she looked at him, she goes, who was the boss? Who was the boss? Who was the boss? And he's like, I was just a kid. I didn't know. And he goes, who was it? And even then, on camera, like,
yeah.
So what if it was 13?
13-year-olds cannot make these choices. It's so
they can't
so
vote or drive or get alcohol. Like, there's lots of things 13-year-olds aren't allowed to do for good reason.
Yes.
And adults should know better.
Yep.
And she was his teacher. It's so...
And there's a scene just like this in the movie, too, with the who was the boss.
Right. But she has a lisp.
Yes.
So that's another thing that Julianne Moore puts into it. So that's something that Natalie Portman in the end puts into her performance.
Yeah, and the very end is Natalie Portman filming for her movie, and she is asking for like one more take because she feels like she's getting closer to the truth. And I've been thinking about this ending now for weeks because I'm trying to figure out like what is happening at that ending. Like, part of me is like, the scene looks so terrible that I'm like, all of her research was for nothing.
Yeah, we get the feeling like she's on a show that's really cheesy. She's like a veterinarian.
Yeah.
That's like operated on an elephant or something. Like, they make a point. She won a People's Choice Award. And she's even saying, oh God, there's a scene where they have 13-year-olds auditioning for the part.
Oh yeah. And she's like, he's just not sexy enough.
They're not sexy enough. What's going on? Are we going to reach out more? I know. So you think like this, and she's got an Italian is directing the movie, and she's flirting with him. Oh, she's engaged, by the way.
Oh yeah, and she's engaged. Yes.
And she just barely pays attention to him. But yeah, that last scene, I'm like, because what happens in this movie is that the character of Gracie, which is Julianne Moore, she manages a pet store, and then the kid comes to work part-time, and they have sex in the stock room.
Hot. So
and
gross.
then there's a scene with Natalie Portman's like gyrating against a door with the cement, and I'm just like she's totally making it exotic in her head.
Yes.
And it just looks trashy and terrible. And yeah, and that movie looks like it's terrible.
Yeah, so that I'm like, I'm still like processing the end where I'm like, am I supposed to be taking away from this that she has shown up, she has dug up all these feelings for all these people, and it was for naught because her performance she didn't get any truth, and she's not going to get to the truth, and she's going to make this movie and it's going to be shitty. I'm like, or is she, when she's saying like, I feel like I'm closer to the truth, is she trying to make herself feel like she's attracted to like a 12 or 13-year-old boy, and like she's like reliving it? I don't know what's happening in that ending, which is fascinating. I'm not frustrated. I'm like, I just can't stop thinking about it, and I'm dying to hear what other people think.
I think I think it was more of the performance she gives at the end where she actually reads the letter.
Yeah.
And then she's putting together the lisp and all that other stuff. And then all of a sudden she does the scene. I'm like, where was the good acting that you just did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Is she really not that great? Is she? And we know now, and that's a really hard thing to do. Natalie Portman's doing like 12 different things.
Yes. Yes.
And she's great.
She's so great. Everyone in it is really, really good.
Everyone, Julianne Moore, I mean, I can't say how much she scares me. At the end, the kids have a graduation and Julianne Moore is just hunting on her property.
Yeah.
Like, and then she tells Natalie Portman, "Hey, I know you talk to Georgie. You know, he and I talk every day. He was lying when he said that to you. And you, just so you know, like, people who are insecure have problems. I'm very secure."
Yeah. She's like,
And
it was basically, you don't know me.
Yeah.
It really fucks up her performance. Because when because when she thought she knew her, she's reading the letter, she has the backstory from Georgie, she thinks she's got it, right? That's why she's so good. And at the end, Julianne Moore's like, you don't get me. And then she gives this like not good performance. That must be it.
That must be it. I don't know.
Thank you, Margot. Thank you.
And then Charlie Melton, he's not sitting with her because they had an argument the night before where she was telling him it was his fault that she married him or whatever.
Right.
But he's watching his children. He's only like 35, 36, and his last kids are graduating high school. And he's crying and he's smiling at the same time because he's really happy for them and proud of them. But Jesus, what is he left with?
Yeah. It's... I can't imagine. Okay, first of all, again, like raped at 12, like he never had a proper childhood, like, but he loves those kids, so it's like he doesn't regret that they're there and that he has them and that he loves them, but he's probably now grieving for something that he missed out on, and that's
all those years.
Yes, and that's really
heartbreaking.
Yes. And these are things, and we all have, a lot of people have those feelings, but in like less, like, I don't want to say lesser, it's not going to come out right, but like, no, not a spoiler here. I'm recently divorced. And I'm what? And
what?
Spoilers, everybody. And I'm like, I love my son. He's the best.
Right.
But I'm also like, sometimes I'm like, well, that was a waste of time, kind of thing. Like that relationship was what happened here, and but I can't regret it because
you were an adult when you made that choice.
Yes. Because I'm an adult when I made that choice and I have this kid and I love him and he's the fucking best. Charles Melton's character was not an adult. He did not make that choice. It was made for him. And she has convinced him that he made that choice. And he didn't because he can't. And that's really fucking sad. And that's why it's so sad when he's smiling, but he's crying. And he's like, he's not sitting with her. He's watching from afar. Like,
what's he going to do?
Yeah.
What's he going to do?
I think he's going to leave.
I think he should leave. And I think his kids are totally, I love it also. I love when he's on the roof with his son getting high for the first time. Oh, that scene is so good. The bonding that they're having.
Yes.
I think the kids would be thrilled for them to split up.
I think they would too, because I think they would get it.
Him.
Yeah, I think they would get it.
She sucks the oxygen out of the room. She's a viper.
Yes.
And she really manipulates people. She's got like a serious sociopathic personality disorder.
Yes.
And she's all about herself. And she's one of those people, she's all about themselves where they make it look like I'm doing everything for everybody else.
Yes. And she's a victim.
Yes.
Ugh.
I know.
Those people.
But they also don't have empathy for what they're doing because they honestly think they're doing the right thing. So if you're hurt or whatever, well, that's on you.
Well, yeah, that's your fault because my feelings are valid.
I think we figured some stuff out today.
I think we did too. I'm so glad we talked about this.
Me too.
And now I have to watch it again.
I know. I want to watch it again now. I got to watch something else. But this was one of my favorite films I've seen in a long time. Like, and the performances, the music is interesting. I mean, I can see the ghoulish humor happening in certain spots, and it's a nice relief. Could have used a little bit more of that, but it was like a sock in the gut, and it's just I don't know what else to say. It's just really.
It's on Netflix, y'all. Like,
yes,
don't pass this one up. It's really, really interesting, and like again, there's so much to dig in. I'm glad that we decided to lump it in with Sweet November. Sweet November, May, December.
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's fun to say.
The SEO, yeah, it's very fun to say.
The SEO traffic. That's sweet SEO traffic. Actually, I do have the top 10 movies of 2001 if you want to hear them, because we have never done a 2001 movie before.
And I have a top 10 list for the movie came out, so let's do that.
All right. Number 10 is Hannibal. I can't.
Oh, is that the one with the pig? Where he feeds them to the pigs?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't really like
Spoiler.
Hannibal. I don't really like Hannibal.
No, it's not good. Is
No.
Julianne Moore in that?
I believe that's the one that she is in, yes. And Ray Liotta's in it too, and there's a whole thing with it makes
Gary
me want to
Oldman.
it's gross. Number 9, Planet of the Apes. That's the one with Mark Wahlberg.
Not good.
Not good. All it reminds me of is the SNL skit where he's like, "Hey, I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I'm going to talk to some animals." Do you remember that one?
No.
And he's like, "Hey, goat, I like your beard. Say hi to your mother for me." So good. Okay, anyway. Jurassic Park 3.
No, I've never seen it.
Did I see that one? Yes, I've seen that one. I don't like that one. Number 7, The Mummy Returns.
We love Brendan Fraser. It's his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Brendan Fraser. I love the first Mummy. It's super entertaining. Calvin loves.
We covered it.
Yeah, we did. Calvin loves to watch that one. It's very entertaining. Number 6 is Pearl Harbor.
Oh, boy.
By the way, Charlize Theron was up for the role that Kate Beckinsale plays in there, and I can't decide if she made a mistake or not because they're both not good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad Charlize Theron made the choices she did, because then she gets to have the career she has now, but...
She got to shoot a scene with Keanu Reeves in a bathtub.
Yeah, true that. But if you put these two movies, I would rather watch Pearl Harbor than Sweet November.
It's so bad, it's kind of good.
Exactly.
In places.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, number 5, Ocean's 11.
Love it.
Love. That's a perfect heist movie. So fun. Yeah. Number 4 is Shrek.
I like Shrek movies. I'm the one they keep making them for.
No. Okay. The younger generation grew up with Shrek. They all love Shrek. Younger people love, I like Shrek. I think Shrek is fine. But younger people grew up watching it. There's all kinds of Shrek merchandise you can get. There's Shrek conventions. People love Shrek.
Donkey!
Number 3 is Monsters, Inc.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, it's so good. It's Billy Crystal and John Goodman and Steve Buscemi. It's Calvin has watched.
People.
Yeah, he has watched Monsters, Inc. many, many times. It's very funny. Jennifer Tilly has one of those great animation voices. She's so great. Number 2, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. That's the first one.
Which one is that?
That's the first one.
Okay.
I love all the Lord of the Rings movies.
Me too. I don't know what's happening, but I like them.
I don't like the Hobbit movies, though. Just the Lord of the Rings ones. And then the number 1 movie is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which is the first one.
Oh, that one's, we've talked about that. Christopher Columbus.
Yes.
Chris Columbus. So this movie that we're talking about today, it came out in early February 2001.
Yes.
In time for that February 14th audience.
Woo!
Let's watch The Dead Chick.
Yeah.
Date, guys. Okay. Oh, Jesus, this is so 2001. Number 10. Faith Hill, The Way You Love Me.
Oh, yes. I remember that was in like every movie trailer, by the way, that song.
Number 9, Dream, He Loves You Not.
I don't know that song.
I don't know it either. Matchbox 20, all in lowercase, If You're Gone.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's no push. I want to push you around.
Oh, I will. It's no Smooth. Number 7, Joe featuring Mystical, Stutter.
I don't know that one either.
I don't know it either. Sorry. Number 5, Jennifer Lopez, Love Don't Cost a Thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Lenny Kravitz, Again.
I love this song.
I love Lenny Kravitz. I love this song. Madonna, number 4, Don't Tell Me.
That's a great song.
Awesome song.
I love that whole album. I was into it.
Yeah. Number 3, Destiny's Child, Independent Women, Part 1.
Oh, I love that song.
Good song. Number 2, Outkast, Ms. Jackson.
I am for real. I love that song.
And number 1, Shaggy featuring Ricardo Rick Rock Ducent. It Wasn't Me. It Wasn't Me.
Oh, yes. I'm not into that one, but it was a hit. It was everywhere.
You could dance to it.
Yeah. This is true. My friend, what else are you dorking out about besides May, December, and Sweet November?
I'm dorking out about I saw the Disney movie called The Shepherd that stars John Travolta, and he's a pilot, and he's helping a guy land his plane, and it's Christmas Eve.
I don't know this movie.
Helps him. Travolta's been doing a lot of press for it. It turns out it's only like a half an hour, so
What?
anybody can watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Christmas Eve movie if you're looking for one. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, killing it. I super thought it was going to be a lame, dumb season. Nope. It's really good. Up there with Salt Lake City, which is
Salt Lake City is delivering.
firing on all cylinders. It's amazing. And those are the ones. And also I want to congratulate Dolly Parton, who has the number 1 album for the first time in her career.
How is that possible that she hasn't had a number 1 album before? That's bananas to me, but that's awesome.
Yeah, so happy about that.
I wanted to say I saw Saltburn in the theater, and that movie is bonkers. It is Cruel Intentions meets, what's a good one to mix it with? Cruel Intentions meets The Talented Mr. Ripley.
I have not seen this movie. I'm waiting for it to be on streaming because I'm notoriously reluctant to go to a movie theater. But I have a feeling once I see it, I'm going to be like, Sonia, we need to talk about it now.
Probably. And so I'm going to not talk too much about it other than I think it's really, really good. There are parts that I was like, this isn't, there were some parts that maybe some other more squeamish members of the audience were really grossed out by. Gross don't bother me. So I was like, as they were like, they're squealing like little girls next to me. And I was like, like, this is so gross. It's really, really good. It is written by Emerald. It's written and directed by Emerald Fennell, I think is how you pronounce it. She also did Promising Young Woman,
which I love,
which is so good. This movie is also it's dealing with bigger things, and everybody is very, very good in it. I really, really like this one. Maybe not for everybody. Don't take your parents. I'm just warning you. Like, this isn't a movie you go see with your mom on Christmas night or something. It would be a very awkward ride home. Just saying. So be mindful of who you see it with. I also want to say I saw a Biltmore Christmas. It's like Biltmore, Biltmore Christmas. And it is on the Hallmark Channel. So I watched it on Hulu. And it stars Bethany Joy Lenz from One Tree Hill and Christopher Polaha. I think I pronounced that right. And she is a writer who screenwriter who is going to remake like an old classic movie called His Merry Widow. And it's basically The Bishop's Wife is basically what the movie is. But
I
they're
love
calling
The Bishop's
Me
Wife.
too. So I was like, I'm in. So she's writing the script, but she changed the end to like a more somber ending. And the studio head's like, I want a happy ending. You should go visit the original Biltmore estate. It'll inspire you, blah, blah, blah. So he sends her there. And there's this whole thing with like an hourglass that she tips upside down, and it transports her back in time to the set of the original movie. And she meets one of the actors who's in the movie named Jack Houston, and he's so handsome. And
ooh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, and they like hit it off, and but she's also like going back and forth. So when the hourglass runs out, she's back in present day, and she meets a woman who's like His Merry Widow super fan who's there to like tour the grounds and take pictures, and they form like a really fun little friendship, and she like continues to go back, and they fall in love, and I'm not going to tell you anymore. It's probably my favorite of the holiday movies. I've been watching a lot of these like Hallmark, Hulu, Netflix, Lifetime holiday movies. This one's my favorite one so far this year.
I'm going to watch it tonight. I'm telling you right now.
It's really, really cute. And like Bethany Joy Lenz is adorable. Everybody drink. And I think the guy playing playing Jack Houston, Christopher Polhana, he's very handsome. Like this movie worked for me. I was like, did they make this one just for me? As the world's biggest Bishop's Wife fan. It's very good. So I recommend it very much. And then I also wanted to let everybody know that the Great British Baking Show celebrity editions are all on the Roku channel. I just discovered this. It goes back there's 10 seasons with like a couple of episodes each, and they're all like celebrities. So I immediately was like, I want to watch a hunky guy bake. So I found the one with James McAvoy, and it was delightful. So if you get he's a snack. So if you get the Roku channel, you can find those, because Great British Baking Show, it had its finale this week. So I was looking for something to kind of scratch that itch. What'd you think of the finale, by the way? Did you watch yet?
Yeah, it always makes me sad. I feel like the seasons could be longer.
Yeah.
I honestly do. I was just thinking, sorry.
Yeah.
As you were talking, I was thinking to Sweet November. And I was remembering that the amount of Enya on the soundtrack was alarming.
Oh, it is very 2000. The movie came out in 2001. So we're talking about like a very like 2000s like soundtrack. It's like Enya comes up multiple times. We got the Bare Naked Ladies in there. And we also have that like late 90s like overplucked eyebrows that we get. And Charlize Theron's character has that too. So there are some very 90s, early 2000 vibes in that movie.
With the stomping boots, with her little peasant dresses, and the chunky knits, and the, like you said, the thin eyebrows and the barrettes everywhere.
Yes. It's again, very manic pixie dream girl.
Although, which is what Natalie Portman played for years.
Yes, in like Garden State would be a good example of that sort of thing. Also, I would probably wear a lot of those chunky knits and dresses, and
oh, for sure.
Yeah, I probably would. So maybe I'm a manic pixie dream girl.
Oh, you definitely are.
I'm just
Look
here.
At your wardrobe, Sonia.
Dude, I'm just here to fix men. That's all. Look, I'm just here to like do podcasts and fix men.
Dating. That's what I want to do. My last few minutes on Earth, dating.
Because it's so fun.
It's just not. It's not in my makeup.
No. My friend, where can they find you on the internet?
You could find me at Brooklyn Fit Chick. That's my site. I'm at Brooklyn Fit Chick on Twitter and on Instagram and Threads. But everything else, I'm Brooklyn Margot, including TikTok, where I'll see if I can get some clips. I put the Sweet November trailer on there. It has its fans, let's just say. But I'll see if I can find
beautiful.
some May, December clips I can put on there too, because this movie haunted me.
Yes. I think it's going to haunt a lot of people. I'm going to go online and read some of the takes because I haven't been reading stuff about it. So, but thank you for helping me work that out. I might sleep a little better tonight. I appreciate you.
I think we worked it out together.
It's because we're such a good team.
We're the best.
We are the best. If you like the show, you can give us a review. That would be grateful. I'd be so grateful. And I'll give you a shout out on the show. You can email us at dorkingoutshow. Send us your address and we'll send you some stickers. They're really cute. Dorkingout.com, Dorking Out Show on Twitter, Threads, Facebook, Instagram,
and
Blue Sky.
What a creep.
Oh, yes. And if you like the sound of our voices, you can also find us at What a Creep, where we talk about creeps of the past and the present. And who's our creep right now?
We just talked about the J. Paul Getty the third kidnapping. That was based also by a Ridley Scott movie, All the Money in the World. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
And it was also an FX TV series. So go check that out if you're finding us for the first time because of the SEO.
Yeah, that's sweet, sweet SEO. I think next on What a Creep, I'm actually going to be doing something movie related. I'm going to talk about the motion picture ratings board.
Ooh.
So if you want to hear some other movie stuff, we're going to do that over at What a Creep. You can find me at thesoniashow.com, The Sonia Show on Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the places. I should put up some Sweet November reactions because it's so ridiculous. Yes. But I'm glad that we took a request. But I'm really glad we talked about May, December because it needed to be done. So thank you, my friend.
Well, thank you, Sonia.
And now
everything.
And now I'm going to go and help some men with their problems.
I'm going to